Welcome everyone to the 341st Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, August 13th, 2020. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department, part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond. I'm the host today as we are joined as usual with Mr. Mayran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I believe he's ready to go with today's workshop. Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers workshops of the Keshe Foundation, KFSSI, and Spaceship Institute of the Keshe Foundation. As you have gathered, Keshe Foundation from now on operates on a full 3 arms of his work, KFSSI in running the affairs of the Keshe Foundation, SSI, Spaceship Institute, on the work of the Iranian National Defense University. Will come in and we collaborate with other governments to bring the flight system, and what is KFSSI, which is education part of it, which merges as a new structure. In so many ways, Keshe Foundation has taken new shape and new ways, and we're going back to our root. And we're going back to support the knowledge seekers from foundation up in teaching, in workshops, and in education. And as some of you know, KFSSI has run what we call a research program as starting beginning of this year. We started with some large numbers of 20 odd topics. They reduced to around 10 topics which they could carry on. And 3 of these projects will be financed by Keshe Foundation in the new semester to be developed as a spin-off. And then this section will take it into the Iran National, what we call Defense University collaboration for developments in a full schedule of what we call a proper spin-off throughout the Keshe Foundation in conjunction with the university. This is what we're planning and where we're heading for. We have come to understanding and very rapidly will develop after September the space technology development, again through Iran and the Spaceship Institute. And we invite those of you who are in space technology and want to join the new, what we call gravitational magnetic field systems, which was developed previously in Iran and will be completed to a full space flight in the coming time. You can apply to the Keshe Foundation, and with it, we develop this technology very rapidly. On the other hand, with the KFSSI, there are different groups around the world and different organizations of the Keshe Foundation and teams and individuals who do a lot of workshops. We had some problems with the workshops in the past, but we are reintroducing the workshops back into operation. In a way, we support them and we try to bring them in to see who these workshop people are. It's not like past that you just come and go. We know we have backed the Dutch Keshe Foundation, Knowledge Seekers, and as we announced on Tuesday, this Thursday they have a workshop in Holland. And we're supporting them, and if they need be, we will be present in the teaching for them, in their private teaching or in workshop. I don't know if we have the member of the Keshe Foundation Holland here who can join us to announce what the workshop they have or later on in the program. Rick, do you see them behind?
Let's have a look here.
It's better to come from them. We should see one of them that who's put his hands up.
Okay, yes. He's enabled to speak.
Hello, are you
Alfred,
there?
would you like to go ahead and announce yourself?
Um, I don't have yet the microphone. I think is it
It's
okay?
work. It's
Okay,
Yes.
working now. Yeah.
okay. Yes, we will have this Sunday our first workshop. It will be a trial workshop, but we plan to go on every second Sunday or something like that, and we will do it very simply with cup 1 and cup 2, and from there on we take it further. We hope that we will find a few people that will help us to build a structure so that we can again um, spread the knowledge. There was once the Dutch and Belgian and was a very big group, and now they have to remember that it was not a fancy, it is real. So that is what we like to help for that.
Where is the workshop? Do you want to give us the address
The
where you're
workshop
holding?
will be in Amsterdam, and the easiest way that you can find the place is when you go to the website mahara.love. I type it in the chat.
Stanley has put into the Zoom chat here the public teachings in Dutch Zoom ID with the clickable link that people can use.
The Dutch team meets every Thursday at 8 o'clock. And you can join them there. It's a very active group with people who are there. And if you type in the venue or where they can find it, please, in the chat, we put it on the screen.
It's very simple. Mahara is the place. MAHARA, and then
Can you write
love.
in the chat that we can pick it up and we put it on
Yes,
the screen?
I have put it.
I don't see it on the chat. Rick, do you see it on the chat?
No, it's not in the chat.
It's on
yet.
the Q&A. I have the only,
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not, I don't have the possibility to chat at this moment.
Okay. See it in there. Yes. Okay. So let me put
Can you
together
put it on the screen?
a screen thing for that.
If you are doing any workshops like the Dutch, please come in on Thursdays, send us a note on the chat, and we bring you in live that we don't need, and we put it on the events of the Keshe Foundation that people can see and where to go to after the teaching.
Yeah, let me get this up here. The other information. Okay, Thursday. So that was at 8 p.m. Central European time, I presume. Same as Italy time.
Yes. So that would be our workshop for, and then we look into what happened this workshop that we are listening now. We review that one with the Dutch group.
So is the Mahara.love connection, is there a schedule there somewhere that this
It's
meeting is put in? Because
it's
it's not on the main page.
right. It's a private workshop still, but so it's the first workshop that we have, and it's a trial workshop, but it will very soon be on the schedule. But it's easier
Okay.
to give that website for the address and things like that and connection.
Okay, I'll share that now. Okay, that shows the website at the top there that we were just speaking about, and there is the main Zoom ID that will be open at 8 p.m. Central European Time on Thursday.
Mahara Love is what, on Facebook or?
That would be a website, and that would be the easiest way. Instead of giving an address, they can go to there. But it's best to first contact, and then we have a few participants. We want to have some 6 participants, and we are almost full for next Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. But then we will, every second Sunday morning or so, we will continue with the workshops. And the
That's
workshops will be COP 1 and COP 2, especially.
That is beautiful as before. We've seen how the Dutch have worked so effectively. If you need any support as the small groups you set up, we'll back you. And as Holland is the motherland of the Keshe Foundation, we are concentrating to start and establish what we call a Dutch Health Center as a enhancement units with the support of Middle Eastern financiers. And we put a lot of concentration of an effort into Holland in the coming time. Thank you very much. And please, we put this on the Keshe Foundation event if anybody wants to get in touch for the future teachings and the rest of it. And as I said, if you have any other teachings and workshops, which is now especially concentrates on the Corona and the new technology development, you can come in on Thursday mornings, raise your hand and put a note that you want to announce a workshop. We support you. Please make sure these workshops don't become, as before, a place for people to make money and charge huge amount of money. We block it. And as by law, you're responsible as a third party for what you're organizing and all the materials you produce and you teach. Thank you very much indeed from the Dutch team, and hopefully you let us know how this week went.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. The other announcement which the foundation has to make is that the Keshe Foundation will hold enhancement unit exhibition at Linz Exhibition Center, Central Exhibition Center in Austria from 3rd of September for a limited time. On the first day of opening, His Excellency Iranian Ambassador and other ambassadors and attaches from Iranian government will be present. At the same time, Chinese ambassador has been invited and the officials from Austrian government. The first day opening, it will be the announcement and presentation of the new technology into the public domain, and some microphone is open. And you can register to attend this exhibition. Due to Corona and other things, you need to register into, and there's a donation of 100 euro to cover the cost of the exhibition. And we have to give you an appointment. You explain, once your security clearance is done, you'll be given morning or afternoon session. And we have a limited number of people we would like to allow in to comply with the Austrian government's regulation with Corona. It's very limited. The 2 enhancement units will be on shore, and at the same time, the whole of Keshe Foundation technology, equipments and operation and new technologies will be presented in this exhibition. We are in the main international exhibition center of Linz, and it is at this moment we are the only exhibitor, as more or less the exhibition center is shut down due to Corona. No one holds exhibitions. We have to be very prudent with what it is, but in most of the times I will be present, and most probably the head of the Keshe Foundation, other members of the Keshe Foundation who could be present. From this exhibition, we move directly into Tehran for the rapid development of the space technology. And at the same time, as you will enter into the conference or exhibition center, you notice 3 things. The 3 flags of Iran, China, and Austria will be next to each other. As the enhancement unit is collaboration between the Chinese Keshe Foundation, Austria, and Iranian knowledge. And we keep to this ethos and way of work, as we keep the totality of the knowledge as one nation, one organization. If you want to attend this exhibition, register, because we close very rapidly. We are planning, we know if we go to Iran, we won't leave the exhibition open. All documents will be withdrawn, and at this moment we see limited spaces and time. You can dictate or tell us which days you can attend, morning or afternoon session. Morning is from 10 till 1, afternoon session is 2 to 5. And in this process, we keep the knowledge and the new equipment and the technologies in open and in what we call accessible to all the nations and the governments. There is a hotel facility on the exhibition center by Marriott Hotel Group that you have to book yourself if you're staying in the hotel at that time. We prefer to 1 session per person and not multiple sessions, that it makes it easy for us to operate. We close what we call the booking, as we try to run 5 days a week, not 7 days a week. And if you're planning to come weekends, it has to be declared and we have to make arrangement for it to be possible. We prefer not to be there, as the staff need resting, and the other programs which is running in the background, and what we call human resources has to be used accordingly. This exhibition will be the prelude to the upcoming space development and the space technology of the Keshe Foundation. In so many ways, we show for the first time the full power of the Keshe Foundation technology up to space limit. In the enhancement units, we will show the REAM maglev unit unlimited power supply technology. We have gone to the extent to use part of this technology in the enhancement unit, and what has been eluded you as knowledge seekers for past 5 years as a power supply maglev, this technology will be used intensively in this system as a plasma technology system development, which means we open at the same time into the energy development of the Keshe Foundation enhancement unit and introducing a new systems, light systems which uses a plasma than the electric current, heating system which uses plasma than electric current plasma, what we call heaters, and the rest of it. A total new technology and a foundation for a new cycle of what we call wireless systems will be brought into operation in the following exhibitions, which initially the power supply has been used and developed in this enhancement unit. As we said, we gave you the Magrav unit and none of you could bring it to power the way it was supposed to. For the first time, it's used in this system and it will be utilized as a plasma power unit, not as an electric current unit. And there is a way that in the future we teach you how to convert, or some of you might already be able to convert plasma currents of high voltages to what we call electric current, which doesn't take much, it costs a few cents. The exhibition will be tightly controlled and we will not let anyone without the security clearance, be it from public or Keshe Foundation, knowledge seekers. And in this process, we will collaborate with all the national governments to implement this technology very rapidly, especially for Corona and everything else which will come into operation for us. On the other hand, the Keshe Foundation, China, will take its own steps, to extend their work, as they have now moved to new factory premises on the same premises but bigger, for the production of the new materials and new systems for understanding and use in public. There is one clear indication that the Keshe Foundation in the coming weeks will move into what we call zero-time communication technology, which means upon our arrival in Iran, in conjunction with Iranian scientists, we will release the new, what we call three-dimensional gas technology systems for computers, which enhances the, what we call, everything we do in your present computers to a peanut. The power of this technology is instantaneous and storage unlimited. We can replace all this. This technology has been fully developed in the past and will be given as a gift to the Iranian nation. And through the Iran National Defense University, will bring it to public. This is needed and it has to be done as part of the space technology development. We cannot travel into space without this new computer system or system control through what we call the emotion and enhancement of the feeling and the soul of the system. As I said, all facilities and everything is getting set up for us to take this step. As it comes with the exhibition, a lot of new things. Those of you who were interested and wanted to purchase, the purchasing agreements will be done outside, as many of you wanted to see the system before you purchase. The system will there and it can be seen, and at the same time, after September, the price of the unit will increase to €1 million to increase what we call the Keshe Foundation facilities to meet the new demand of the Universal Council in what they want to achieve, to be able to support it. In a way, collectively we pay to bring in one nation, one planet, one race as part of the reality of this technology. Coming to teachings, in the past days, the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks, as we taught step by step, every aspects of the technology in respect to the animal kingdom, vertical people, and the state of matters. Many of you are confused. Many of you have a problem in how to set up. Many of you have a problem in what goes where, as some was distorted during the teaching, and some were put back in as part of the teaching in so many ways by different knowledge seekers. What we need to do is to understand the totality of the technology in how things came in. Excuse me, webmasters, we need to be able to access the sharing of the screen. Okay. In the teaching of the past, we spoke about the vertical people, we spoke about the horizontal people, we spoke about the understanding of the solid state, or what we call the matter state. In the initial teaching, there were 3 clear points and 3 understanding of the what we call the systems. Unfortunately today the pen doesn't work, so you have to bear with me with my finger. Not bad finger. Let me clean this out. And if you take the vertical people and the horizontal people and the matter state, there's a 4th state, which we have never discussed. In the matter state, we placed the solid on the side. In the vegetation, vertical people we put in the middle. In the solid state matter, we came and we put on 2 sides. There is a 4th state, which is the state of liquid, which is the state of the gas and the liquid as a combination of the gases converts to liquid. Where is the soul of the liquid? Where is the confirmation of existence of the fields of the planet, which leads to creation of this liquid? In so many ways, we need to bring the understanding of the all 3 states together to be able to understand how to create the soul, a field, a conversion of the liquid. In so many ways as gases. In so many ways, no physical dimension. This brings a new phenomenon into the work of the understanding of the systems. With the matter state, we always worked in a very simple. We put the we had to understand the system had to work in understanding of totality of the gravitational magnetic field of the planet, the understanding of the three gravitational magnetic fields, the inertia, and the soul of what we call the system, be it vertical, be it horizontal, or be it as a solid. Some of you could not grasp the whole concept of the setup, and many of you run into problems. In so many ways, you started working on the structure of the vertical, the horizontal people in an unusual way, which will not create what you were expecting. What this means is we gave you the gravitational magnetic field of the planet. We gave you the what we call inertia. We gave you the understanding of the physical matter. We gave you the understanding of the soul of the matter, and then we gave you the soul of the entity. In the human or vertical people, we put the system on a very, what we call, direct way. We put the soul of the, what we call, horizontal people on the top in cup number 1, if you count it from the top to bottom. In the vertical people, we brought the soul of the system to the what we call cup number 3. In the solid state, we had to bring the soul of the solid into the what we call cup number 2. And what are we going to do with the liquid? The liquid and gaseous state, in so many ways, have an inertial effect, but they carry a soul effect because they can change from gas to liquid and liquid to gas, and in some cases, in the state of matter in the same position. We need a new setup, new understanding for liquid and gas, which has no state of matter, but it brings in a new game and play into the technology which you have not known before. In so many ways, as gases have no state of matter state in them as such, it comes the play of the dynamic gas. Has to be only gaseous level and liquid level, which is only can be CO2 and CH3, which you have. So you need a mixture of CO2 and CH3. But this system still has the property of the inertia and the gravitational magnetic field forces the same as the others. In so many ways, the soul or combination of energy sits in cup number 1 in the dynamic sphere shape. You cannot use solid nanomaterials inside it, as it has no manifestation of system. But what you do, you can dictate the condition of creation, which is the copper and zinc, which gave you, but in a nano-coated structure. You still follow the same process as the solid matter, but this time the center is replaced with a liquid of a gas of CH3 and CO2. There is nothing in position 2 and 3. The directional flow of the system will create field forces to this effect. And this opens a new structure for work, in so many ways, as you will understand in the future, for a deeper space travel and understanding of technology. Now, for the first time, we mix the nanotechnology, the gas technology, together in combination of creation of the new materials and new conditions. In the exhibition center in Linz in September, you will see a new structure set up by the Keshe Foundation team that will allow the transfer of the fields within the structure to the body of the man. And this will add to our knowledge in a new ways, a new understanding, and in so many ways, in the coming time, in coming understanding. And as we develop the technology further, we can replace the bottom, or what we call the gravitational magnetic field of the system, with a dynamic system, but of a different mixture. This mixture will let you have exactly what should be in the coming time when we introduce the communication line and the structure of the communication between the 2 points. We will use this technology for communication, zero-time communication across the planet, as this can be shown in the future, how it will be developed and how it will be implemented in space technology of the coming time. In a way, if you look and understand, we join up with the upper atmosphere with a matter state, gravitational magnetic field strength of the center of planet. And with this, we cover totality. We use this in the future, this understanding and technology, for many, many applications. The elevation of the soul of the human race, feeding of the human race, understanding and nurturing the planet world and plants, and in so many ways to feed those who work and live within the liquid state. In this liquid state, in this space, can be a fish or can be animals which do not feed but use the magnetic gravitational field of the universe and planet. As I said, the new technology brings in new understanding, and as we head for a space development in a rapid way to meet our commitments by March 21st, 21, that we all be able to eat to reach condition of what man needs for the point of survival as a liquid, as a human race uses water, all may be fulfilled. In a way, if mankind understand this new setup, there shall be no need for many things. That will be the end of droughts. There will be a point of the fresh, clean water at the point of demand. Enough condition that the man does not need to drink, but takes gravitational magnetic field of the system to replenish what he calls liquid of water in his body. I will change the course of humanity in one sweep in the coming time. That man will never be dependent on anything in the universe except his own knowledge and understanding of the totality of the knowledge of the creation. You got to remember, at this point, everything on the screen is considered to be of what we call nanoplates and nanomaterial coated. If you understand this, in a coming time, you will understand how you can create systems that will feed the mankind and all those of this planet and beyond, and those who are our guests on this planet. In understanding this new technology, we'll break through and make everything ready for March 21st. As I said, my return to Iran will be prelude to new space technology and understanding of the new era in human knowledge, science and technology and systems. In a coming time, we will do with state of matter. In coming time, we will do with solid food state, and every man will be happy and satisfied to their own need and their own understanding. Are there any questions that we can clarify today that in the future we don't have more ambiguity?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. I remind our attendees here that they can put their virtual hands up and you can be recognized as John Blevin has. And please go ahead, John.
Hello, Mr. Cash. Can you hear me okay? Hello, hello, hello.
I can hear you.
Okay. So the question has to do with we hadn't seen this material cut before, the third setup. Are you recommending that we attempt to start that process with a 3-cup arrangement, and the fourth setup also with a 3-cup arrangement? So it'll be 5-cup, 5-cup, 3-cup, 3-cup.
No, everything is 5-cup. Everything is 5-cup. With the difference with the liquid, you leave the empty space between where the cup 2 or 3 do not exist. Because the position 2 goes to gases and position 3 goes to liquid. And the conversion of liquid to gas has to be kept in that state. In so many ways, you have a new or different structure where you have the new one, empty, inertia, gravity, where the gases convert here and the liquids convert here. And the same process, the soul of physicality of the two is reversible. This will give you the same thing, where before, for example, for horizontal people, we had this system. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Your position 2 and 3 is vacant. Where with the vertical, with horizontal people, you have the soul here. You have the soul of physicality. You have the physicality. You have the inertia, and then you have the magnetic gravitational field. Here, it still stays the same. If you look at this section here, you will understand why in some places you even convert the liquid into what you call gases. In some part of the world, what is liquid, or some part of the universe where is liquid on Earth is gas in the other position. This is due to this part. So this system is not just for Earth application. This system is universal application. As I said, our teaching has entered universal teaching. It's not a physical matter state, man condition.
Thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome, John. How is your center coming up, John?
It's coming along good. We're going to be
When would
done
it be?
pretty quick.
Would we see you in Linz to see the systems you're going to receive?
I would like to, but the flight and the arrangements just are not really compatible to travel right now.
I think if knowledge seekers would have been fast by now, we would have no limitation on travel. Any other question?
We do have some questions in the Q&A here. But it's not directly with what you're just teaching. It's related. Some of them are related.
Tell us the one which are related.
Okay, Lissy says, the question goes, it can be placed near the cup of man and the soul, and near those of the soul of physicality and plants, so that they interact with each other. Something might have got lost in the translation there, but I'm not sure what she means by it. Can be placed near the cup of man and the soul, and near those of the soul of physicality and plants. I think they're talking about maybe the 5-cup arrangement can be placed near plants so they interact with each other.
What do you mean by that?
Well, there's a second question. Maybe I'll just carry on here. In the cup of plants, that of inertia, can plants be planted next to or placed nearby? For example, nuts and dried fruits with the permission of their elementals to receive their energies in this cup?
Yes, you can try. This is what we teach this way, to see how much you can add from your intuition, your knowledge, and everything else which you gathered over years.
Okay, there's a third question about there's a difficulty in some countries to treat as patients for people who are not doctors, and some doctors are something different from the conventional allopathic treatments. Now, in the USA, for example, this can be done legally without fear of demand if this is done under the figure of a church. I met a lawyer who made one just to help patients. We can create a church only on paper where we can take refuge under law to help more people freely, and perhaps branch in different countries without abandoning the ethos or the mission, vision, and pillars of the Keshe Foundation. So she's suggesting to make a legal entity of a church in the USA, which
So
people
become
tend to
Keshe
do there.
Foundation Church, do we?
Keshe, KF, Church of Keshology.
Plasmology. Organsology.
Yeah.
No, um, if that's the way to go, we leave it, because we need to be in position to do so. We prefer to stick to our own way and to what we agreed and to what we have set our souls. There will be no churches and no temples. Then we start the same process as others.
Mhm. Okay.
If the church invites you to use the technology in the church too, we do that in Iran. In Iran, we operate inside the mosques. We can go to the temples, we can go to synagogues, if they invite you to do. Of course you can. The pictures you've seen before we shown from Iran is in mosques. The house of God in every shape or name. If it helps humanity, why not? but we don't set up a church. If the Holy Father wants to invite you, we have no problem. But you have a problem in making clear that we don't become part of this church.
Okay. Freed has a question about the CH3, which was previously not advised due to the corona. So how can this be overcome? How do we deal with the CH3 now? Is there any special procedures or any special precautions, or is it okay now?
We introduce it in the cup this way as it will become part of the structure. And it's not for consumption.
Christian has a question. On the last system presented, does the cup number 2 and cup number 3 have the plates but no salty water, or no plates but the water, or only empty cups on their position?
What do you mean? Need the explanation.
Christian would have to see which Christian is it. There's this one. Allow you to talk, Christian, if you can explain what you mean there.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, go ahead.
So first of all, thank you a lot for everything you teach us. I wanted to know how we can build the last system. It is in vertical position, but I don't know how to design the number 2 and number 3 cups, how to put them to let the cup empty without anything, only the position to be empty, or to have the cups as we had before, but without water, or only the water without any wire inside. This is my question. I don't know how to
You
put it.
mean which cup?
The last cup with the gaseous state, the last system.
You have to remember that you have to connect these systems together. You have to find a way that the gases in the system are connected to the plates and to the rest of the system. Or you leave it to be done by itself. In a way, you let the fields to connect. You connect the two side plates, and you allow the units, the balls, to interact themselves with the fields of the system. Or you decide to connect it directly in.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
We have several people with their hands up here. Ed, you can go first, and then Dean and Jalel.
Hello, this is Ed. My question first is, in your initial drawing, that is not on the screen right now, but you had a top cup with CO2 and CH3 in the middle as a non-physical presence. Is that CO2 and CH3 produced by the two plates that you had drawn, or are they added and they end up forming, because of the addition of them, they produce that non-physical presence between the plates?
You fill up the core with it.
Okay, so you make a CO2 and a CH3 and add it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then my second question was just the same as Christian's. On the drawing that you have on the screen now, positions 2 and 3, you said were empty cups. And I just did not understand exactly what that meant.
Doesn't need to be an empty cup. You leave an empty space. If you want to produce gases, you put number 2. If you want to produce liquid, you put a cup in place number 3. And then you decide what gases or what liquid is created by the interaction of what materials or which materials, or by the condition of the inertia. Because in the liquid and the gas state, the condition of the inertia interaction with the gravitational magnetic field will dictate the liquid, what it will be. There is a technology which we taught initially years ago, and it's forgotten. What we call the horizontal plates. The horizontal plates was taught years ago. I have a delay in my screen. With most of the material you created, you put your plates in this position. With the gaseous plates, you can position your plates in this way. This was taught years ago. Where you decide, by changing how you change your position. With what you call the liquid condition is about the same, but with a liquid condition, you have a 3-layer. And at this moment, you can use those in these areas. If you take CO2 and use the horizontal plates, see what you get here. And what you create here. If you put the copper lower or a zinc higher or reverse. This we taught years ago. The field difference is it's very, very different than when you do the vertical plates. When you do vertical plates, Earth gravitational magnetic fields interact. When you do horizontal plates, you're in totality confined within the plates because these fields are blocked by the nanoplates. And it's only applicable in production of gases like CO2 and CH3. We use this quite openly in many of the tests. So your cup number 1 or 2, sorry, 2 or 3 comes from here. Depends you want a gaseous state or a liquid state. Because now you work on a zero plate condition, not on Earth gravitational magnetic fields. The only thing you have is the inertia, because now the inertial plate underneath will interact with the matter state of the plate and dictates the material. And the horizontal plate system is, maybe if you haven't heard about it, is to be used for gaseous state and the liquid state.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh.
If you let me add to
You're-
this. If you look at the Chinese flight system, we created the dynamic structure of this very clearly. By dictating inertia, you can dictate the gas and the condition you want to achieve it in a liquid gas or in a solid gas or in a gas as a, what we call, non-dimension. And you will see different characteristics when you, especially like CO2, you will see a pressure on your plates, depends how you do your plates, and the plates moves out of the water usually. If you get it right, the pressure of the gas, of the plasma of the gas, lifts up the plate. And if you go further into like production of the water, you will see water flowing out. You create a container which continuously produces water. But you have to get everything precisely. The vertical plates are easy to make. Horizontal plates are very volatile. You have to get everything precisely right to be able to what we call create a condition. These are rivers of life. These are places where what we call body achieves new understanding. So in the system, if you look at it, you have this, then you don't want anything on the gaseous side. On the liquid, you want to create a water, you have to know what you do it. You have your inertia, you have your magna. And linking of these horizontal plates is a tricky job. But you create. This is how liquids are created on this planet. You block certain fields and you open certain fields. And here itself becomes an environment for itself. This one stays empty. Or you decide that you want everything here to be empty. You don't put anything in. These, pardon?
I'm sorry, I thought you were finished.
Understanding will change. And in so many ways, you got to understand the new ways of interaction of the soul. Because all these carry a soul with them. And in this process, you have to comprehend the totality. Then you'll see how your systems work, how your interaction of the fields come in. This is why the new dynamic systems and the new dynamic balls will create, in conjunction with the Ganses and with materials, a new phenomenon, which many of you are not familiar with. But again, if you go to the Chinese, this was clearly shown there. We load up the system, the reactors, for a purpose of flight. We load up the system for specifically producing certain materials. If you saw it, we create water around the reactor. That's how it's done. Go back on the teachings and look at when we showed the Chinese reactors, how we start collecting water, because we create in a way the dynamic soul of the liquid and the gas interacts and sits somewhere in between the two. And it's dynamic. It is something you cannot change. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
clear.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a problem with my screen. So in so many ways, the understanding of the technology comes from the understanding of the totality of conversion of systems.
Mr. Cash, I have a further question if you're finished there.
Yes.
We are working with materials, copper, zinc, and iron. In our decision on which materials to use, I just have a basic feeling of the use of copper nano-coated to interact with the physicality, zinc nano-coated to interact at the soul positions, levels, and iron is in connection with the earth, central forces, soul, so to speak. How do we use this to decide which plates to position in, for instance, the top cup?
It comes from, you got to know it by experience. You got to remember oxygen itself as a O2 is magnetic gravitational magnet. So you have to realize when you create a liquid like water, CO2, you have two magnetic gravitational field system on top of each other. If you look at it this way, you have this and you have this. You have this plate. You have the inertia and the gravitational plate. Now, the gaseous, if you're creating oxygen or water, you are dealing with another dynamic soul system in conjunction with a matter state. The same with the CO2. You're dealing with a dynamic system plus a matter state. Your plates or your vertical position and horizontal position, my system is absolutely useless today, goes this way. You change this with this. And this process is very, very, very clearly to be understood by those who take the next step. And you can create continuous flow of water. Or you can produce continuous flow of CO2 or oxygen. The use of horizontal plates or horizontal environments has many, many different applications. We have tested the system years ago. And it is if we use corrugated plates, be it copper, be it zinc or whatever. You have a combination of the inertia and gaseous condition magnetic field together. As I said, now we entered universal language teaching of the technology, still using the understanding of the man of the Ganses. We cannot find Ganses in the universe. We cannot carry water with us in the universe to make Ganses or whatever. We have to create condition of the field flows. And if you get a system which is what you call dynamic, you will understand more in how to operate it. If you have this system is playing up today. You're very slow in the picture transfer. You make a space hole gap in your system, and then you see what effects you get.
Does this space hole gap allow certain energies to come in, whereas the positions of your plates block from other directions?
Yes, because when you have a position, a space gap, it's like corrugated, what do you call it? Very much like corrugated paper, very much like sheets with the holes stamped on it. If you put that on the base or put it on the top, when you put it on the base, if you can make it with a dynamic structure, then you see you create a flow of liquid. If you put it on the top, you create a flow of gases.
When you say corrugated, do you mean perforated with holes in it?
You can
Or
use
cardboard. I'm
perforated.
sorry.
Yeah,
You mean
it's a cardboard. You can use
cardboard.
perforated as well. Both can be used, because when you use perforate the cardboard structure, I have no command of the pen today. It's all gone. You have a field flow interaction, and this field flow interaction between the two plates and the space gap, we can do it perforated the same, but you have to understand how it works the same. So you have a space gap, or you have a hole, you can do the perforated the same.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Would you like to take some more questions, Mr. Kish?
Go ahead.
Okay, we have Dean with his hand up. If you would like to go ahead, Dean.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Mr. Cash, for taking this question. My question would be: it's changed a few times after listening to you and you speaking in the last few moments. On this planet, our home planet is the Earth, and we're linked to this Earth through the salts in our body, the liquid planet, and they connect us. So these cups, we're producing them in physical matter state. Would we then travel by using just taking the salts in physicality, a pinch of salt, with us to connect us to the planet to be able to move freely? Or with the soul, do we have a signature as a soul based on this planet? I suppose it's two questions in one there, really.
One of the best ways to cover both is the use of human blood, if you understand it. It's both in liquid, carries the salt, is still partially amino acid and partially in gaseous state.
Okay. So the blood,
And
as we know,
the best state of this is to use the system of producing hemoglobin. Because human hemoglobin has a fingerprint of the Earth, because it's created by interaction of the field of the Earth.
so the blood links us to the planet. Does it? Does the blood hold us to this planet? The soul. Does it? Once the soul is released, is there still a connection through the bloodline?
Yes, but we don't call about your blood. We talk about the blood as a hemoglobin created by this planet. You got to consider what happened if and when this planet blows up and disappears. So all the souls to it are disappearing as well, because there's no more connection. Or are we in a way, in essence, connected with different fields of it?
So that's like going back to the beginning, so that all the fields created through the field forces of the sun and the earth coming together in the universal flow, those fields came together and basically gave us our physicalities, our soul, which then manifested as our physicalities. And so that connection is just going back. If that whole process starts again.
What do you mean?
So if it occurred what you've just described, where the planet blows up or is no longer here in matter state, then the whole process for humanity would start again, and who knows how we would look or be in a different. Well, no two things happen twice. It would be with completely different consistency of our being.
It'll be more or less impossibility to replicate a life on this planet anywhere in the universe. Near impossibility. The fingerprints of life on this planet is unique, and it stays unique because it has been produced from interaction of the fields of many conditions over many millions of years.
And is this, obviously this is then so for all entities, whether they take a physical form or not, they all have a fingerprint of wherever they have come from in the universe or reside in the universe?
That's what we said from the beginning.
So the interaction with gaseous friends and community, and whichever form they take, then goes back to the soul level, where it is on in a human understanding, on a thought, a soul transfer.
Yes. In so many ways, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for those answers.
The maturity of the man in the knowledge of space and creation comes when the man understands his own process of creation, not on the physical dimension, but in the understanding of his creation of his own soul.
I think that understanding is gradually coming back to many people. I think we're starting to, through your teaching, starting to understand the beauty of creation and of the Creator, and it's all the facets and all the forms that are taking shape on this planet at the moment and have been taking place for a very long time. And I thank you for bringing forward this technology and helping humanity to overcome its obstacles that it's put in its own path. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have Jalal with the hand up here.
Yes, Rick, thank you. Good day, Mr. Keshe. Mr. Keshe, in the capturing, well, not capturing. Let me go to the cup. You use dynamic ganses, and you said you can use a different method. One of these methods, can I do the captured field in the nano? to produce this effect, interaction between the plates?
If you can use the capture field, yes.
So it's
But
work.
don't forget, capture, the capture field in plates is a composition where the field of the GaNs in the ball is mono, or at least two.
But I can choose which plate capture which fields, and in this way I will make it dynamic. Yes. Or you need this interaction between the ball and the fields between the plates.
The ball represents the sun. How can you put it in a flat plate? If you look at it, it's in the upper layers, which is the interaction between the field of the Earth and the solar system and cosmos. That's why we put it there in that dimension, in non-tangible or non-matter state, nano or matter state.
Okay, and there is two ways to have this fields. One, we can use motors for this ball.
Or you can use whatever you like, depends on you.
Okay, last question, please. CO2. Is the CO2 what we do, or the CO2 what you do? There's a slight of difference here in the processing of CO2.
What do you mean? My CO2 and your CO2?
You use distilled water in the producing CO2.
I
And
use everything. Who said I use this? Nobody uses still water. That water is good enough. I
that's why
don't know where all these things have come.
it's from you. It's ancient teaching. Okay. The way you do everything is a little bit different. It's very effective. Just you present the horizontal plates. Are you blocking some energies to make nitrogen?
Of course we do. That's
Okay.
the whole purpose of it.
Yes.
That's if you use, if you even see, go back to the Chinese system, we use nano coated copper underneath of the whole system to separate that. We deal with our own fields. Now we are on our own. When you put a nanomaterials on the bottom, you dictate a new condition, new environment.
Yes, I understand now. And it is always a distance gap you are working with. Yes.
Of course, distance gap, how you create that distance gap, what materials you produce in that distance gap. You see, if we use, let's say, perforated system, the field coming here is different than the field goes through the hole. But on the other side, they interact. So now your composite energy, you create a vortex of the energies.
This is the first point in producing material.
We're talking about liquid and gases.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cash. I understand.
Thank you. There is a composition, a school of thought that you have the inertia, you have the magnet, you have the combination. What about if you put a plate here and a plate here? One to be nano and one to be matter state. As I said before, we haven't even started teaching you the essence of creation. And now you enter in the universal knowledge. These are what's on your plate. What about dictation of composite? In any of the interaction of mixture of the plates and gases. In a way, if I put it to you this way, sorry. The field flow is in that direction, isn't it? You got to realize the knowledge of creation is limitless. It's the man who puts limits according to his understanding. In the Linz exhibition, you will see systems which will puzzle you in so many ways and will bring information and knowledge to. We introduce many, many unknown knowledges in the coming time. As you have seen, we have brought such a huge new dimensions in knowledge that is continuation of what was taught as a completion of knowledge. We, to be able to join the universal community knowledge and level of understanding, we have to go through these basic steps. Step by step, chapter by chapter. As you understand more, you all got excited, you made the first 5 and then you got another 5 and then another 5 and then another 5 and then next steps is the line of communication of the field. Line of interaction of the field. The present computers in next few months will be obsolete. Whatever you spend on your computers will go into the bin. Because you remember, I was standing yesterday at the cashier. If you remember some 30 years ago, when you went to a supermarket, the poor lady had to know all the numbers and the prices, whatever she was going punching numbers in. And now you pass it through by beam. I stood there yesterday and I thought, you know what's interesting? These machines soon will be obsolete. 2 reasons. One is in your thoughts, what you bought. And what is in your thoughts, what it was worth. When you come to cashier, it's already paid. Do we need for a cashier? Or you take what you like and is deducted of your accounts by virtue of the just picking. This is not possible. It's a reality. When we release this knowledge in totality, you'll be shocked. If we still stay with going to supermarket to shop, whatever you take does not need somebody to add it up for you. It's a level of balance of your soul, what I've taken, what is there, and what is given, and what is paid for. We introduce these systems. We have to introduce systems once we go into the flight system. There is a lot to come. And now we still have to introduce systems which can handle tens of thousands and millions of links and connections. And never make a mistake between one or the other.
There was a question, Mr. Kesh, about that from Randy. Will the new computers interface with the old systems? Are they a totally new way that will replace such systems?
It's totally new way. The present system cannot be accommodated in the old system cannot be accommodated in a new system. We have no room for it. It's very much, if you remember, 20 years ago, we used to take a picture and we had to get it processed and put on the paper. How many of you have been processed a single picture you've taken for past years? Stays on the camera. You want it this day. You don't need to montage it. You don't need to produce it. You don't need to process it. But what happened? Then the telephone is lost, or the camera program or the telephone program crashes. Why can't we carry the memory of those pictures we took? And where can we download it? You remember you were sitting there with so and so and you took a picture, but now the phone is gone. What about the memory of you being in that picture, taking that picture? Recovery memory is part of it, and we don't need to do much. The new what we call GANs computers, plasma computers, is beyond the imagination of man. Beyond imagination, because at the moment you're still entangled in whatever, where with understanding the GANs technology years ago. We showed a communication system years ago, but nobody understood, so we put it away. I showed the first plasmatic memory bank in Eindhoven. I opened the box and called it the empty box of universe. That was one of the first computers. Basis for it, if you understand it. You have a chip, you get on it so many gigabytes. You have a box, lunch box. You get the whole knowledge of the universe in that box. But you looked at it as something else. I've already shown what I call the new computers coming up in a few different occasions, but as you're not aware of what is shown, you look at what is physically there. 5 megawatts, 10 gigawatts doesn't make any difference. Any other question? Would you like to go through a commercial break, as we call it? We're past 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Sure, that sounds good. I think Stanley has some video set up for us here for that. So let's take a break here. We're not hearing the sound yet, Stanley.
Thank you very much. If there are any other questions that we can expand on in respect to the teaching.
Well, there's quite a few questions in the Q&A here. I was trying to sort of pick the ones that are most relevant first. Doug McDonald mentions in the 319th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, Dr. Asadi speaks of the pico state, finer than nano. Is this very fine state part of the no-time communication computers and other new applications?
Not really, but we go as a energy field, not as a matter or a GANs field. If you look at it in a bigger dimension, the stars are these nano points. If you look at it, the planets are these picoforms. In a way, we are changing the knowledge into universal knowledge. If you look at it, understand it, you will see the change. What do you call a pico and what do you call nano? And if you take meteorites, you get a cosmic dust. How far below do you go? Now, maybe you can see a macro in micro or a micro in macro. And how do the stars communicate? How do the stars and planets interact? Where is the memory of Earth continuously, repetitively follows the same path with all the stars and the moons and comes back to the same point? Isn't that part of the memory system? Isn't that what we are aiming for? Now you understand where everything sits. Maybe now we see a bigger scale.
Doug goes on to say, it seems that the pico state was always present, but we had no instruments to see it. As we go finer and finer, is this process, although only a transition, still a valid way to help us to the soul and ultimately the creator?
We are not looking at a matter pico, we are looking at the field interaction. Does the field from our soul reaches the fields of the creator? That's the question. This is why I keep on saying, look at the fields, not the matter state. You're still looking at the GANs, but where does the field of the GANs go? Where does the field of the soul of the man go?
And how many souls fit on the head of a pin?
Yeah.
How many nano souls? Are they pico souls?
We can go further if you look at the dust of cosmic dust. some of the cosmic dust are still in a field state, not a matter state.
Mark had a comment in the Q&A. You've confirmed how easy it is to confuse the man like myself. Is there a simpler way to teach these understandings, or is this the most basic way for us to grasp the new knowledge at our current level of comprehension? Or the teaching is already super simplified for us. We just have to dare to build and test and see how we do.
What do you mean? Or what does it mean?
Well, I think it's more of a comment than a question, but he's apparently confused about the teachings of the various cups and so on, and wondering if there's a simpler way to teach these understandings, or is this the most basic way already at our current level? Or do we just have to dare to build and test and, try it for ourselves? So I think people get
Yeah,
confused of all the different, too
the-
much information.
It's we give the information. We don't wait till people all understand. We teach that in due course, some will understand part, and we develop. We can't wait till everybody understands. I'll be here on this several billion years.
Yeah.
I have
We
a
had
rendezvous.
sorry, go ahead.
I said I have a rendezvous to meet and to go.
There was a question from Ziva yesterday in the plasma reactor group. What to do with the salt that's formed on the cups 1 and 2? She showed a picture of a heavy salt concentration around the lip of the cups, which many people have also run into.
Where these cups where you collect the salt, these salts are composition of all this, what we call the ganses. So if you understand, your salt is not mono salt. It's a gas salt of all the materials you have. In the cup of man, you have that position. When you make the cup of the horizontal people and you get a salt on the soul level, now you understand the strength of the matter state of the soul. There's a lot to learn. There's no more questions. I think today we taught enough. and open a new Pandora box for you people, especially if you're not aware of the horizontal plates and create of the gases and liquids. And this will come to be most important part of the upcoming teaching. Combination of the cores and nanomaterials in the way you've seen and understanding of it. And in the LINS what we call exhibition, we will show new dimensions in the world of science and technology. Dynamic memory banks, holding and sharing at the same time the whole knowledge.
There's a couple of other comments. One from Professor Twister, who says, "We humbly and proudly survived more than 1,000 COVID or semi-COVID sick people by plasma protocols, especially with the CuO2 and CO2 GANs. And we are all thanking Professor Kesh for his effort in this advanced science." And he also mentioned we are extremely happy finally that KFSSI decided to use the CO2 GANs for COVID, and it's the perfect choice. We tried it for 4 months, and the result on COVID is COVID positive was wonderful.
The Iranian Keshe Foundation team now is embedded in one of the major hospitals in Iran. The team are there, they become resident in the hospital, and as they said today, the ward which was given with the patients all been cleaned out, and they asked for more patients today or yesterday. It has shown that the COVID-19 can be overcome, and even they are retracting people from intensive care units back into the wards where they can support. Is only ward which is now cleaned out. It's the second time they clean the ward out. They have 15 patients in the ward, and they had 2 left, hoping today would have been discharged. The situation with Iran now sits in the hand of the officials in how they will bring the technology out and how we can handle a criminal president and the way he's handled things to the benefit of his own bank accounts and his what we call ministers. I'm sure once they're off the what they call ministerial seats, as was dealt with the Ahmadinejad group, they will see prison sentences, long-term prison sentences, and the conflict of interest for themselves. Iran has become in a way away from all these corruptions in this way. They allow them to rule, and then once they come off the office, because this way they create mayhem and that's what they want to do, they appropriately have to respond to the courts in how they allowed so much debts for their own financial private interest. And we will see this outcome in the situation which you're in. Let's see.
We have one interesting question, or actually 2, from Professor Twister, who says, when we bring the CuO2 or the CO2 inside our virology laboratory, we can't cultivate the COVID virus. Why?
This was done in Ayatollah University research labs, and the existence of the field showed they never had such a clean lab of viruses. And this is due to the effect of the strength of the copper and CO2 and the dynamic flow of the fields.
And that's just bringing it into the lab. It's not necessarily spraying and doing all that, or is
No,
it the
it's
whole
just that.
protocol?
It's just that being in the lab has created this condition. We know this from the major university in Iran. What has happened, we got to know yesterday. Bariatullah University and Hospital, which is dependent on the Sabah, they received the positive results on all the tests. And these people sit in, 3 of these people sit in Ministry of Health. And they were told what happened. Bariatullah, which is as I said, leading hospital and university medical, the head of the university was on a bribe from the minister and the president to block any, not just Keshe Foundation, any COVID solution. He was replaced upon clearance of this, what we call misconduct. And now his proteges in the university have blocked the Keshe Foundation because they say, by you coming here and replacing the head, now they don't get their bribes in a way, so they blocked. Now we are dealing with a bunch of another thieves in the lower level, which is the people who certify. The Keshe Foundation technology has proven 100% correct in the hospital, in the university. Now people on the back of the head of university being replaced have taken a position. These will be dealt with by the authorities. We're on the process of getting the medical application and goes nationally, because we're dealing with a corrupt government, one of the most corrupt governments Iran has ever known. And this will in turn cost thousands of lives, and they will be answered. They have to be answered, especially by people in Bariatullah University, those people who are sitting in the committee, and 3 of them are what you call taking bribes from the ministers to block. This will be dealt with. We are very open about the way situation happens in Iran. We have passed the certification. Blocked signature only by 3 people who are get paid, they have masters. And the authorities have taken the steps. And most probably these people will receive long sentences, prison sentences for coercion and the death of many people by not allowing technologies to come out. And as you heard in the BBC, in the past 48 hours, many of these people working with outside forces have been captured. And soon all these blockages in Iran will be opened up. Blocking new technology was paid by outside nations to create with these people. But we are not going to prove the technology. Technology is proven and passed the test. Clinical trials are completely positive. But 3 members of the group, because the boss was sacked, by minister being told to block. They cannot block it because now the legal authority instruction has come. They're responsible for death of many people. The Corona 2 and 3 has made Iran hospitals full. And where the Keshe Foundation team works is empty. We have got cleared out all the patients without death. And this is the process we shall see continue. And we've been told in next week, 10 days, even this opposition in Bariatullah will be handled under other positions. As I explained in the Tuesday teaching, is once the medical certification is issued, it will go nationally in Iran, and when we show a rapid drop in contamination, death, and numbers, the rest of the world will follow. 3-4 people have taken the whole world to ransom, and the authorities from the leadership will respond to the president. The only reason he's sitting there is because he carries the title of Ayatollah. And Ayatollahs cannot be touched. And he's abusing his position. He has to be stripped of his title, then they ought to be the normal citizen. But that cannot be, that's part of what the clergy in Iran have to sort out. We are back in position of religious bribery by one president who carries the what we call the beautiful name of Muhammad with the passport of American underneath his turban. And the rest of the world is paying for it. Any other question?
Yes, we have a notice from Lissy, who says it's actually a note from Hans Arias. He says, "Good morning. My name is Hans Arias, and I'm interested in forming a foundation in Cali, Colombia, with the purpose of taking this technology from Mr. Kesh to places where they do not have access to the internet and where people are of limited resources who suffer because they do not have the necessary resources for medicine, food, energy, and they do not even have drinking water. I want to know if I have the approval and support of the Kesh Foundation to carry out this project. Thank you very much."
I presume you're Canadian, and Canadian Kesh Foundation is strong enough to support you. You don't need to set up another foundation. I'm sure.
Don't know if it's Canadian. It's in Cali, Colombia. Not British Columbia, but Colombia in South America.
South America. Ooh, who do we have in
Cali.
Colombia? Who do we have in Colombia? In Colombia, we have Kesh Foundation. Who do we have in Colombia? We have. Jeanette comes from Colombia, and we have an active Colombian team, and I think Azar has some connections. You have to talk to the Kesh Foundation and then set up a Kesh Foundation Colombia operation. I think Azar was in Colombia a few months ago, if I'm correct.
So if they sent a note to info@kesh.foundation, would that work?
Yeah, we'll send that through and then we see it through. But I know we have a very active Colombian Kesh Foundation because I have a Colombian relative and I know they're active in Colombia.
Okay, that'd be a good way for
Yeah,
extending
we can
support.
sort it out. Yeah.
Stefania has comments regarding the holes that you showed in your diagram. And she says, the holes remind me of the bones. Is this why the bones have holes?
I think you have to go to the medical teaching. Actually, the structure of the bone and the tunnels or tubes in the bone is a very good example of the what you call horizontal plates. If you look at your ribs are in a horizontal position, not the vertical, where your bones are vertical. Combination of the vertical, what we call the spine, and horizontal ribs create a condition where gases can be handled and the liquid of the heart can be handled. What we just taught today, you have a clear replication of it in the body of the man. Where gases are handled, you have the ribs, horizontal plates. Where the liquid of the heart and liquid of the what you call lung is handled is on a horizontal plate. What we teach in teachings is the replication of the Kriya on this planet, nothing more, nothing less. Because that's why you can understand the way you can understand. And you see clearly the structure of the body of the man is set to handle gases from the horizontal rib cage. And the separation you have in between with non-bone structure separates the both left and right, that the fields of the two work operate separately. And as you breathe with the upper bigger rings of the ribs, the bottom to the top to the shoulder, which is a smaller one, again dictates the composition of energies you can take from the air you breathe in. Knowledge is so simple if you understand it. And knowledge of the creation and the creator is much more simple if you decide not to make it complicated. Any other question? Shall we call it?
There's, of course, always more questions. Just trying to see here. There's some questions about.
Is Kazmir somewhere? Can you see Kazmir somewhere in the panelists?
Was earlier. Let me see here.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I've been asked by the head of the Keshe Foundation to ask you if you want to present the new products as the head of the sales of the Keshe Foundation.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. Hello to everyone. Maybe whoever is controlling the screen can go to the Keshe Foundation store, as I'm using my phone this time, and I would need a little bit of help.
Yes, I'll get that set up for you here.
Thank you very much. Okay, great. Today there is very good news coming up from Keshe Foundation, and it is that we're presenting to you not one, not two, but 5 different sets of products, starting with the Keshe Guns Environment Balancer. It consists of 4 pieces. Maybe we can go to one by one, or just click on the picture. Perfect. This is the beautiful new designs. There are 4 colors with 4 different purposes. The white color Basically, it has the CO2 and zinc oxide guns, which is the emotional balancer. All products are basically coming here to complement our guns and plasma experiences indoors and outdoors. These things, the 4 colors, they can be used indoors. They can be easily plugged into the electrical system. The white one is for the emotional balance. The black one is the 1 cup, 1 life guns. This is the life protector. The pink is filled with CH3 guns for energizing the body. And the green is the environmental cleanser with the CO guns. If we go to the explanation of the products, we can read that the environment balancer, they are ultrasonic. So basically the product generates a large range of ultrasonic waves that repel mosquitoes, rats, and cockroaches. So not only you're going to be able to balance the fields inside your house, inside your office, but also you wouldn't have to kill any of the insects and the living entities around you, only because they're going to be repelled by the ultrasonic technology in these devices. Also, the GANS technology releases its magnetic plasma field by the ignition of these ultrasonic waves. It is very easy to use them. You basically install them in the bedroom, in the office, for the multiple purposes. For example, the Energizer, you can use it when you're doing your training. In the fitness, you can easily plug it in and just see the difference between the training without the Energizer and the training with the Energizer. I think it's best if we start making different experiments with the products and the technology in our daily life. And I'm very happy that we have these new products that can enhance our daily life in a much better way. Also, the emotional balancer can be easily used when you sleep. You can plug it in if you have very naughty kids, I guess, or naughty pets. The emotional balancer, as you know, the plasma and the fields that we are all created from, they affect the living entities as well. So this emotional balance will be able to be spread not only to you, but also to your loved ones around you, to the pets you have, and even to the neighbors, which is a really good situation. In terms of the environmental cleanser, you can use it in your laboratories if you plan to have everything cleaned in a sterile environment. It's absolute perfect for that purpose. And the black one, which is in the combination with the 1 cup, 1 life, we know what it can do. It's basically another enhanced option. And you get all of these 4 amazing sets for the price of 99 and 99 euro, which comes with the US or the European plug. It's very easy to use. It has all the certification, the CE, the ROHS, FCC. So it can be easily used with absolutely no problem. The whole environment of your house, the whole environment of your living space or your office space can be enhanced and balanced by those fields, by the fields of these devices. Also, it's an amazing present, again, to get in touch with someone that's interested in the technology. You can give one or all of them as a present to see what difference they can feel with using them. So it's very easy to not only take advantage from this technology, but also spread it a little bit to your loved ones and to the ones even that are very skeptical towards the technology. Once they see that these devices are actually bringing the results they need, I'm sure they're going to be a little bit more open towards this technology. So this is the first household indoor new technology environment balancer from the list of 5 that we have for today. If Rick, can you please go back to move to the next unit? That's the one. This is my favorite from the list of 5. This is the Kesh-Gans household reactor. If we go through the picture, to me, this looks like a clockwork. Very precise, very simple, very light, easy to work with, and embedded with the Kesh technology and the plasma and GANS technology. This unit can be used in a very, very different sets of applications because it can be filled with different GANSes, with GANSes that you've created, with GANSes for specific purposes. The amazing thing about this unit is that it basically gives you, this is one of the things that you see here on the picture, is this arm that allows you to change the angle of the reactor so that you can create different effects, different fields, and you can point towards different directions. This field, basically this moving arm, allows you to create very different and specific conditions in your experiments, or even only if you want to try to focus a specific area or a space that you want to affect with this reactor. The other amazing thing for this setup is that it allows you to have different speeds of rotation. If we go to the text, you will see that there are 3 levels of speed that you can choose from. The first one is at 1,700 RPM. The second level is 2,400, and the third one is 3,100 for the level 3. It is basically a perfect GANS reactor that can be used at home or basically anywhere that you wish to enhance the environmental units, fields, or if you want to make an experimental work. For example, what comes to mind, to me at least, as an idea that I would very much like to try would be to try to use 3 or 4 of these reactors and attempt to reach free plasma state. And many other applications as well. You know that one of the main problems that we have in the experimentation is if the balls are leaking, if the connection is correct, you have to go through a lot of hassle before you reach a working rotating unit. And here everything is done for you already. You only have to just fill the GANSes and create this setup that you want, depending on the aim, on the target, on the goal that you have, what you want to achieve. It's very flexible. There is a 120 degrees rotating base. It's also with a wireless control and an amazing battery that can support up to 20 hours of work without connecting to the grid. It's only 20 by 20 centimeters, so it is very, very easy to move. It's very easy to transport. And to me, basically, this solves a lot of questions and a lot of struggles with creating rotating and dynamic fields. On the technical part, especially the people that are not so technically savvy like myself, this is really like a present. Again, I see this as this to me is very precise, very clockwork, and it's simple and it's amazing. It's simply amazing. This comes with a free shipping for 149.99 euro. You can look at it, the rotating balls that we've been talking about for so long. Finally, we have them and we can use them, especially in 3 different rotation speeds and with different angles. And we know that both angle and rotation speed affects the fields in a different way. This is the unit. So for now, we have this household balancer 4 units and this rotation unit. So anyone who is interested in the technology and want to take advantage of it, either on a more simple level by staying at home and not doing any kind of experiments, can do it, or in a little bit more experimental work. And not only, it can be used, he can use this rotating reactor. Now moving to the outside, moving to the outdoor products that we have. The next three are basically enhancing your gardens, basically it gives light to the spaces outside. The first one is a Kesh solar lamp. It's an LED outdoor solar lamp. It's powered by the sun. It gives you basically 6 to 8 hours, can provide you 8 to 10 hours of sun. It basically automatically turns off during the day when it feels the light, and it turns on in the dark. You don't have to do anything. It's very simple. It's a plastic, very simple to assemble, and you can spike it in your garden. You've seen a lot of those pretty much everywhere in many gardens for paths, for different spaces. It is waterproof. You don't need to take it in and take it out in extreme conditions, in extreme heat or extreme water, even with a frost resistance. So basically you place it outside wherever you want to use it, and you don't have to think about it anymore. It will just simply provide you with the fields, with the GANS plasma fields that are going to balance and enhance the environment outside. And in a way, if you have enhancers and balancers inside of the house and outside of the house, I guess this also enhances and brings more interactions between the plasmas in and out, and this enhances the whole field and experience. There are different lights that you can change. Basically, you can play around it. It's very, very simple. Still, it's very, very powerful with the Kesh GANS technology. Once again, it can be used with any weather. Very simple, very practical. Anyhow, we use those. Why not use them in an enhanced way with the Kesh GANS technology? It's very easy to install with no tools. Basically, it takes you a few minutes. This comes at €69.99. And it is part of the first part of the sets for the outdoors and gardening and outside. The solar lamp, the second unit, the second item from this list. Again, with the same basic characteristics about installing it, about placing it, and being powered by the sun, is the solar lantern. This beauty here has not only everything that I've explained you before about the previous product, but it also gives you basically two options with the LED colors. The first one is on the picture, the first one we can see easily that it gives you a constant light mode, and it also gives you a realistic flickering flames mode, which I love, because the fire, as they say, is the oldest TV set. So you can have the oldest TV set and enjoy it outside, even without the burning or the fumes, but only enjoying one of the light effects on this lantern. Again, automatically turns on and off. You don't have to turn it on and off every time. It is also resistant. You can hook it upwards, but also it has a base that you can use to just poke it in the ground, and it can stay as it is as well. There is a micro USB charge port if you want to charge it not through the sun, but through the computer or through the electricity, and a very efficient solar panel that is charging it constantly. Again, on and off is automatic. This set comes with two pieces. To pack with the fires and the flames inside, which I love very much. This is here, you can see exactly how you can use it to poke it in the ground and just have it as a fackel, so that It can light up the pot, or you can just use it in the garden. Also, with the embedded GANS technology, it gives you not only the light, it gives you not only the comfort, not only the good fun feng shui, as they say, but it also gives you the fields, the balancing fields, the GANS plasma technology. This is the second of the outdoor and gardening set of your environment, the solar lantern. And the beauty here is that it can light up for more than 12 hours. Again, the light mode and the flickering flames mode. Okay, so we can move to the final, to the last piece of today's puzzle of 5. This is it. This is the GANS solar torch. This is it. It gives you even brighter light, and it also gives you the flickering flame. It has all the characteristics from the previous products. It can light from the sun, it can charge from the sun. You have the extended ground stake to make it taller or shorter, the torch. You can see the solar panel, 17% efficacy, ABS material, LED. This one has the on and off button because it's very strong, so you need to choose when to use it. You have a longer ground stake, you have a plastic connector, and you have an additional extra ground stake together with the plastic spike to put it in the ground. This is also a very, very nice addition to your outdoor environment and to your outdoor balancing of the fields. Little by little, we are moving towards a space of using this technology more and more in our everyday life, so that we can reap the benefits of it. And when we are balanced, we know that when we go, wherever we go outside, even without those technology, if we are balanced, we can help balance the people around us and the people we work with, even the people in the public transportation. So it's always good first to be balanced, and it's always good to come back in your home, in your fortress, knowing that everything, every stress and every discomfort will go away simply because you've created this environment for yourself, for your family, for your close ones. And this is basically the last product of the list for today. I believe that we should never forget that by using this technology and having these products, we not only help ourselves and our family, our close ones, but we also help to promote the peace on the planet through the peaceful application of this technology. A lot more people will be able to notice this technology and how it is being used in the everyday life. Once they see that you are being changed through this technology, probably they might get curious, and having one of those products is moving us towards this goal of peace on the planet. And I think we should never forget this, because these are not simple products. They are simple, but they are very powerful, and they not only help us through repelling different insects or through giving us light, but the most important, they help us by balancing the fields and with the use of Keshe Gans plasma technology. I think this is it from me for today. Thank you very much for the attention, and I wish you a very good day.
Thank you very much, Kathleen. As we said, we try to increase the product range step by step. And as we go on this path, if knowledge seekers have produced materials or products which are certifiable and carry certification, we can add it to the list of the products of the Keshe Foundation shop, where we encourage local, what we call development and teachings and whatever you might use it for. In a way, it gives a ground or a base for someone who has the knowledge and done something with it to start a living, make a living out of it through the Keshe Foundation organization in a very large and effective way. There is a notice that is for those who are the buyers of the enhancement units coming to LINS or want to come to LINS to see the system. This has to be set up prior to your coming to the, what you call, exhibition, and all details has to be fully understood on what terms and conditions you are visiting. A number of organizations worldwide who want to come and see, due to the corona situation, find it difficult to move. In these cases, we set up direct Zoom vision, or what we call communication with these people, that they can see the systems directly as a group. We will not show it to individual. I want to buy. Anyone who is a purchaser has shown capability of purchase, because we have commitments on other sides. We don't but want the technology to be spread across the planet, not exclusively to some or a few countries. If there are no other questions, we can conclude today's teaching. And I'm sure many of you have already started setting your boxes and everything else.
Well, there's always a few more questions, Mr. Keshe, but
What other questions are relevant?
There's questions about the COVID-virus from Santiago, who says, will the vaccines that are being made in other countries for the corona avoid contagion, avoid the virus, I guess?
We are not in that game. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We know at the moment corona and people who have received the injections of the viruses, because we have a data, we will be talking about this directly from database, has created a loss of libido and has created total death, 98% plus death of the sperm in men. And the female side, we are looking into to gather data. So vaccination or corona are responsible for this situation, because the numbers is in hundreds, and it's not coincidental. All has shown itself since the vaccination.
Do people who are oh, sorry, go ahead.
We know in the countries like United Arab Emirates, who went for a full vaccination of citizens, might have no more citizens left if this carries on, as they could have created a condition that none of the male or maybe even the female can produce a living sperm or an egg to create an offspring. And this is a reality, because 100 people have been tested and all 100 are zero.
And now the Russians have just announced that they have a vaccine.
The corona cannot. Yeah, corona is not one way of corona. Now we identified 20 other of it. The vaccine might work on one. What about the rest? This is a very questionable thing.
It's like the flu
corona
vaccine. They always have. Yeah. They try to predict which one's going to be coming out next year, and they have all the vaccine ready, and usually they're wrong, it seems, and it's just a game, basically. And if you have 20 some odd different mutations, how can you keep up with all the different vaccines? This is going to be a nightmare. I can't see how it could possibly work.
We will see. We'll see through what. Generally speaking, vaccination is not a solution for corona, and how they will produce it, but about the mutations of it, which is coming up. We have to find a universal method to deal with all vaccines and infections. And surely it's not antibiotic and rubber band.
Yes, indeed. People keep saying that there's no side effects from using the GANS technology, which is a really big benefit. Professor Twister does mention we are getting temporary.
Excuse me, can you go to the one, leave Mr. Twister, please?
Okay. From Angel de Mexico through Grupo Hispano, in the past workshops, you mentioned that with the use of the cups, you could learn several languages. Would you share with us the way to do that?
In a coming time, yes.
Okay. For the case of corona infection in the brain, can you use the Soul Cup? And if so, what would be the protocol? You can pass on that question.
That has to be taught how to use. It's a specific way to use a combination of cup number 2 and 1 in the case of corona with the brain. It's because you have to understand how to use it, and the way the method is very, very specific, extremely specific. And you can do that, yes. But you have to know exactly what you're doing. At the moment, we don't teach it because understanding it, and Russian people doing a stupid thing can create a lot of problem for us. But it has to be done in a very specific way, and it's not random. You do it. You can create yourself a lot of other things you don't expect.
Okay, we have a question. Will the 5-cup system be available on the Keshe Foundation store? Some of us are having challenges with nano coating using sodium hydroxide.
Yes, we will. Next week, we will provide it. It'll be coming through Keshe Foundation China or Keshe Foundation Austria, but most probably from China, yes. It will be the cups of life, what do you call it? The vertical, horizontal one, and the metal one, yes. Well, you have to understand, to create these are small pack boxes. You have to connect it. It'll be coming out of China in the next week or two, because that's where our factory is more active.
I see that the store already has cup 1, 2, and 3 available, and a 4-cup set as well. So people can look at that and select from the selection box there. Okay, we're cleaning up the questions very well here, Mr. Keshe. We have this sort of a comment question from Dan here, who says, I've seen the system in China. I've seen the empty box of the universe, the green and the spherical. I've seen the Magrav. I've seen in the 250th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, the discs with overlapping GANs. I've seen the ignition of the plasma. I've seen the balls without GANs, only with the fields collected from the center. I've seen the cups. How much more do we need to see to understand?
We keep on teaching till you become wise.
I think he needs to say, I've seen the cups. How much more do I need to see to understand? That's, to make it motivational.
Because you're all looking at the matter state of these cups, look at the fields of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what you keep saying over and over for years now. You keep
in
diverting
Linz,
our attention. We keep going back to the physicality, and you keep doing this little judo move. It's the feels, not the physical stuff. And
in Linz, you will see a very typical system. I already asked the team to produce it, and you'll be amazed what you will see in this process. And it's the problem with the Keshe Foundation is they just copy. They don't put the knowledge. One makes 5 a second, everybody's after making 5 a second just because one made it that way. There is no initiative, there is no maturity by many knowledge seekers to take it a step further. I think we call it a day. Please, if you are coming or attending the Linz conference, we have a limited number of people, and we try to be there in limited time. And then we withdrew from the public systems till centers like Arizona, in Far East, and in Canada, in Brazil, and in Austria, and in Iran to be open prior next 2-3 months.
there was a question, will any of the presentation in Linz be broadcast?
We will discuss. We will not do it initially, maybe sometime in the future. There is a guy on the internet, he's one of these leftover of that Red Circle people who's been on the internet, said the 3 units are a scam and the rest of it. This guy is psychologically, mentally demented, but we have to inform him that a center will be established in Germany as part of this process. The team has already paid for it. Unfortunately, many of the health centers which come up, and many of the what we call enhancement centers which will come up, they all will be, to maximum our effort, will be between 3 and 10 units supporting. And we try to expand very rapidly in other countries as the technology is spreading across the planet. In so many ways, we will cover as much as possible, but initially we will most probably do the opening when the Iranian ambassador and other dignitaries arrive. It'll be covered by most probably, if we could, it will be done by Austrian television and broadcasting system, as we are part of the Austrian structure. And if they cover it, then you see as part of the national teaching what we call news. Thank you very much for today, and hopefully we'll see how we can achieve more and best.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for today's workshop. Let me see, is there any other announcements to make? Next workshop will be the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace, coming up on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central European Time. And let me see, we have, I think that's it for now. If there's anything else, someone can remind me. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for attending the 341st Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, August 13th, 2020. And we'll see you same time and place next week for another 342nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Okay, bye for now.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate.